Good day, everybody. It's Michael Oliveris with jurisq.com, and I have with us back an immigration attorney, Yakov Spektor. Yakov, good to see you again.
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone.
Well, Yakov, we always call you in for various questions that we have on immigration law. We always discuss what is frequently asked out there on Google, on other media regarding immigration law. And people frequently ask a very interesting question. It takes a lot of effort to get your green card, but there's a way how you can lose it. So can you answer for us how your green card, your permanent residence, could get revoked?
Strangely enough, it's super easy to lose your green card. And
Really?
A lot of people think, hey, you know what? I'm a permanent resident of the United States. I can live here pretty much indefinitely. I can work here. I can travel in and out. Essentially, that's as much as as citizens essentially get, right? Under less responsibility. You don't have to do jury duty. You don't have to go and vote, right? So a lot of people actually, a lot of people tell me, hey, what's the point of me becoming a citizen of the United States if I have to go and do jury duty?
Mm-hmm.
And besides for all the other reasons, okay, a very important one is this one, and that's it's very easy for you to lose your green card. It's very easy for you to lose your permanent resident status. And we'll talk about a few of these.
Yeah, please.
How you could avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite easy to avoid these issues, and surprisingly enough, some of these kind of do tend to come up. And as it usually happens in life, you think that it will never happen to you, and then it does.
So, you never know. Never say never.
Never say never. If you can become a citizen of the United States, become a citizen of the United States. You could lose your citizenship, but it's much, much harder. I think we can probably do another video about that.
Exactly, yeah, because that's a whole different topic, and that's also very interesting.
Right. But losing your green card, sometimes it's as easy as not as a kind of going back to, let's say, to take care of a sick family member, and getting delayed.
Mm-hmm.
Things do happen, and especially we were seeing these things happen during the pandemic when people simply weren't able to travel back. Now the law says that if you leave the United States as a green card holder,
okay,
you got your green card. You are a permanent resident of the United States, which means that you live in the United States permanently, on a permanent basis.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you cannot travel, but if you do leave the country and then you do not come back for more than 6 months, for more than 180 days, the government might presume that you might no longer be a permanent resident of the United States.
I see. So you cannot leave at a stretch of 6 months at a time, or that's your total time, how much you have to be outside US is 6 months?
No, just it's the one continuous absence. If you go in and out, that's completely fine.
Got it.
I'll tell you even more. If let's say if you leave the country for 5 months, come back for a week, and then you leave the country for another 5 months, technically speaking, the government would have no reason, no legal justification to really to try and take away your green card status.
Interesting. Okay,
but having said that, I just got a call, actually a couple of weeks ago, I got a call from a good friend of mine. Now, she's got elderly parents back in the country where she is from. It happens quite a lot. So she spends a lot of time, even though she is a permanent resident of the United States. She does live in the United States, but she does spend a lot of time outside of the country. And she tries very hard not to violate these rules. And yet the border officers, every time she comes in, they harass her essentially. They try to basically to catch her. They ask her, where do you live? Where are you going? Because if the information that she gives them upon entry, that could be legal basis for the government to try and to use that to use it against you. As you know, we all watched what's the show called?
Law and Order.
Law and Order. Thank you very much.
I know exactly
Right.
what you're talking about.
And this is exactly it. The information that you will give to the government can and will be used against you. Okay, and now it's super important to know that if you legally speaking, you're not doing anything wrong, the government will not take away your green card. But if you do stay outside the country, if you plan to stay outside the country for longer than 6 months at a time, and let's say you think that, hey, you know what, I don't think I'll be able to travel back. Okay, maybe talk to someone like me to see what could be done. There are instruments that you could use to stay outside the country for up to 2 years at a time, specifically for situations like this.
That's a very interesting topic. I'm sure a lot of immigrants have that on their mind if they want to travel with a green card, how to do it, what's the safe method to do it. And at some point, we should do a whole session just on that, how to travel safely with a green card and not to lose it.
Don't lose your status.
Yeah.
It happened to a lot of people during the pandemic. They simply found themselves stuck.
Right.
Now, in that particular instance, the government was very understanding. I don't know of a single instance when people were actually harassed for something like this, because it's quite understandable. It's a once in a lifetime, hopefully, situation. But when things go back to normal, be careful. You are a permanent resident of the United States. That means that you plan to reside here permanently. If you plan to stay outside of the United States for extended periods of time, talk to someone like me.
Absolutely.
Just to
Always a good idea.
know what to do.
Okay.
So that's one easy way how you could lose your status. Okay. Now, another one, and that one is super important, and a lot of people kind of dismiss it. That's essentially a criminal record. Okay, if you're arrested for something that you might think is really not a big deal, that could be grounds for the government to try and take your green card away, and essentially to deport.
Is that only on a felony, or could it be also on a misdemeanor?
It's not only that, it could even be something that's not a crime at all under the state law. Like, for example, a marijuana conviction, which is still a federal crime, still a deportable offense.
Exactly. Yeah, we actually had a whole video just on that, whether you could get deported after a marijuana charge. So for those who are interested, go back and please watch.
It definitely makes sense for if you plan, let's say you're working for a dispensary, you're doing something that's completely legal under the state law, and people run into all sorts of trouble simply by disclosing their job history, which is really not a crime.
Interesting.
Anywhere. It should not even be a crime under federal law, but unfortunately, we do not live in a perfect world. It is still a crime, federal crime. It could get you deported. So any sort of a criminal record could be grounds for you losing your status.
So I just want to add for the people who are listening in that if you work in anywhere near marijuana legally, according to state law, you better talk to your immigration attorney, somebody like Yakov Spektor, before you go for your interview for your green card citizenship, because that could possibly affect your rights. Okay, very interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else?
Those are the two big ones.
Okay.
There are lots of other, there are lots of other kind of like, very niche grounds when, when someone could lose his permanent resident status. But, extended absences from the country and the criminal record are the two big ones that a lot of people, sometimes they just, they just happen into those two.
Of course.
Okay, so if don't think that that's it. It's home run. You went for your interview, you got your green card in the mail. Don't think that your status is safe until you're a citizen of the United States, and even then, we'll talk about it in the next video. But until you're a citizen of the United States, you have to know how to preserve your status.
Yeah, Yakov, you always make this point, which is an excellent point, that having a status in USA, it's a big privilege and takes a lot of effort. So the last thing you want to do is jeopardize that by doing something stupid or just out of, I would say, ignorance, not knowing. So how do you fix not knowing? By educating yourself. You're in the right way by watching our videos. Definitely spend the time, spend a little bit of money to contact an attorney like Yakov Spektor to get a full consultation. Before you do something that you think could be in gray areas, something questionable, always good to get advice so you know what you're facing. Yakov, thank you so much for your valuable advice. We appreciate it. And we're going to come back with our next session on how to avoid getting your citizenship revoked. Because you may think it's set in stone, you got your passport, you got your certificate of naturalization. No, anything is possible. Even that you can lose. Please follow us, Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, even LinkedIn now, where you can watch our videos with experts in law. And today we had on Yakov Spektor, an immigration attorney, and we're going to have you on very soon again. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.